The amount of comments that I get asking the exact same question over and over again. Why do you have a mustache? Why do you have a mustache? How come you have a mustache? What the fuck do you want me to say? I have male hormones in my body that make me grow facial hair. I don't want to shave. I like it. Like, what are you looking for here? What are you looking for? I'm a tranny. Get over it.
Neurodivergents view context the same way that neurotypicals view...
Hey boss, I'm here. Oh my god, finally. Why are you so late? Yes, oh my god, I'm so sorry. There was a lot more traffic today than I expected, but I did my best to get here on... I don't want to hear any excuses. Next time, just be here when you're supposed to be here. You literally asked me!
I took antidepressants and they worked for me. I took antidepressants and they made me sleepy. Well, they worked for me, so that's not right. Dismissive. I took antidepressants and they worked for me. I took antidepressants and they made me feel numb. I guess they must affect everyone differently. Listening. I took antidepressants. I think they get the shtick. Antidepressants messed up my sex drive. And how does that make you feel? Honestly, kind of trapped. Sure, like you can't win either way. I get that. Listening and validating. I'm tired of you being fake sad. Well, depression isn't just like being sad. I've never had depression, and I think the human experience can be defined through the spectrum of feelings that I have had, so sadness is the best I've got. We're like empty, hopeless, does not compute. This guy, he's got the intelligence of like a 2-year-old. Hey, we don't attack people like that. Why do I always have to be the bigger person when they're being such motherfucking... it's just some empathy fatigue, but why don't we be done for the day?
My God, I hate consumerism. Yeah, buddy, fight the system. Capitalism is the enemy, man. Do you know who's responsible for all of this? Responsible for all of this greed and evil? The capitalist minorities in the LGBTQ community and the Jew. How are they responsible for any of this? Because their existence makes me as a straight white Protestant man very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
What is your son's birthday?
No, that's a good one. That's a really good one, because I don't know.
What grade is your daughter going into?
9th grade.
What color are your daughter's eyes?
Brown.
That is incorrect.
They're blue. I have a brown-eyed daughter, though.
What are your daughter's birthdays?
Why do you do this to me?
Yesterday.
Oh yeah, yesterday!
What are your daughter's birthdays?
Yes, May 28th, 2009, August 8th, 2013.
Listen, I don't care if these men die alone. At this point, they're asking for it. I know it's tempting to believe these men are exceptions. Take it from someone who deals with families for a living, they're absolutely not. I'm a peds and neonatal nurse. These individuals don't even remember their baby's date of birth in the NICU. I once had a dad register his baby with a name spelled wrong. Plot twist, his child was named after one of his own parents. I've had dads visit the ER unable to tell me if their child had an allergy. About 2 years ago, I fed fish to a child that subsequently suffered an anaphylactic shock that almost killed them because the dad forgot to mention it in the baby's history. Diaper sizes, shoe sizes, the name of their daycare. Has your child ever had a surgical intervention or have they ever been hospitalized? I don't know, I'll have to call my wife. Besides dropping the baby off in the morning and going to the park on Sundays, what do you do? This man in the video, you could abduct his child off the street right there. A police officer could be standing behind him and he wouldn't be able to give a description of his child without looking through his phone to make sure he got the right eye color. Bring back shame. The issue is that when we see a man appear that does all the right things and is invested in his children's lives, suddenly they become a demigod. It's not supposed to be that way. I fall for this too. I'm always amazed, and I feel so bad.
PSA for my fellow autistics that are burnt out. The phrase, if they wanted to, they would, does not apply to you right now. Don't hold yourself to that standard. That is very unrealistic for what you're going through. I, of course, understand the sentiment, if they wanted to, they would, especially in regards to heteronormative relationships and masculinity. If he wanted to, he would. But with what you're going through, like psychologically and physically, you do not exist within those confines currently. You are an amorphous blob that needs to rest for about eternity and a half until you're able to meet those standards again. Because I think what that phrase kind of presupposes is the idea that the person is like healthy and in a good space to do it. Then it's if they wanted to, they would. Before then, it's like if they wanted to and are able, they would. I feel like is kind of the full phrase that's kind of just inherently nestled in the common colloquialism that we hear. Because I want to hang out with friends. I want to do nice things for people I love. I want to do things that make me feel like a good person and a good citizen. But I can't right now. And if you're burnt out and autistic, you probably can't either. And that's fine. Ease up on yourself. Rest up. Yeah, just chill the fuck out. You're doing fine.
Honey, did you hear? I'm the devil, apparently. Look, I did my best to put a fucking roof over your head, so if you think...
Hello? I started this account to be the representation I lacked in media as a fat, black trans person. Exactly 1 week ago today, I had top surgery. 2 weeks ago today, I had top surgery. Exactly 3 weeks ago today, I had top surgery. 4 weeks ago today, I had top surgery. Hi, my name is CLO Sensory, and I'm 25 years old. I post relatable, lighthearted, and funny videos about my experience as a non-binary trans-masculine individual. You may even see a thirst trap or two because, sometimes I be feeling myself. I love my body. But most importantly, I'm an advocate for trans rights and for the rest of my LGBT plus community. Speaking at meetings, talking about the latest bills, giving you all the information that you need to know that our legislators are trying to hide. If you're a person of trans experience or an ally wanting to learn more, hit that follow button and let's go on this journey together. I'm so happy you're here.
So what?
So what?
Yes, so what if he's the devil, Rick? At least the devil has a job. At least he's active in the community.
One autistic trait that is actually CPTSD is feeling like we are being perceived all the time and feeling this anxiety from being perceived. It's because we've been constantly told that what we're doing is wrong. And simple, everyday, minute actions and behaviors that we do are constantly commented on. We are aware of our existence because other people make us aware of our existence because we constantly do things that seem weird to other people, which leads us to constantly be vigilant of ourselves and having this anxiety about being in public spaces or being around other people. For me, it feels like I'm on stage essentially whenever there's anybody around me. Even if they're not directly looking at me or interacting with me, I feel like I'm on stage and all of my movements and behaviors can be viewed by some imaginary audience that's over there, and they're going to comment on my behavior. And that feeling of constantly being on stage all the time is really draining, and which is why when we are alone, we can feel truly relaxed because we don't feel like we're on stage. We just feel like we're ourselves.
Capitalism is slavery with a few extra steps. Bro, that's insane. I cannot believe you're comparing capitalism to slavery. Well, think it through. In slavery, slaves did not own their work. The surplus value that they created belonged to their owners, who decided what to do with it. In exchange, slaves were given food and housing, just barely enough to keep them alive and showing up the next day. Slaves were told what to do, where to be, how to act, what to wear, when they could eat, and when to use the bathroom. Okay. Likewise, in capitalism, employees do not own their work. The surplus value they create all goes to their owners, who decide what to do with it. In exchange, workers are given a meager wage, which affords them the basket of commodities that they need to survive and reproduce themselves to the workplace the next day. Workers are told what to do, where to be, how to act, what to wear, when they can eat, and when they can use the bathroom. The difference between capitalism and slavery is that workers are rented, not owned. But the difference between being rented and owned is nothing more than a legal nicety. Nah, that's crazy. So crazy, in fact, that your only rebuttal is to say nah or take the conversation personal. Wage slavery is a form of slavery. In fact, it was regarded as slavery throughout much of American history. The idea of working for a wage was completely intolerable to the working class at one point. Just go ahead and look at 19th century politics. This was part of the public conscience, so much that the Republican Party actually ran its candidate on this platform and elected Abraham Lincoln.
Everything you need to know about RSD in 30 seconds. RSD stands for rejection sensitive dysphoria. It's feeling extreme emotional pain due to perceived criticism or rejection. It's estimated that nearly 100% of people with ADHD are going to experience it. It can lead to people pleasing to avoid criticism, imagining that everybody's angry at you, and also intense feelings of sadness and shame if you feel rejected or criticised. Here's how you can help. Learning emotional regulation techniques like breathing exercises to help calm you down. Sharing with safe people what's actually going on inside you and asking for their support. And lastly, just being aware that it's happening.
I think a super common misconception about people who are autistic is that we don't pick up on social cues. Like, I feel like what the allistic world thinks when they hear that is like, oh, we miss when something is awkward, or we miss the subtle nuances of awkward interactions and situations. But for me, it's the exact opposite. I am hypersensitive to awkwardness in social situations, even fake social situations, like on a TV show or something. And I think a reason the allistic world thinks we're not tuned into the potential awkwardness of social interaction is because we don't often give a response. At least for me, like when something is awkward in a social situation that I am in, I act like I didn't perceive it because my body just like shuts down because it gets flooded with the anxiety of the situation to a degree where on the outside it probably looks like I'm not reacting, and so therefore, oh, I just missed it. But really, it's like, no, I'm keenly aware of what's going on and I want nothing to do with it, so I'm just going to stay quiet and like fawn or freeze until it's over. Am I the only one? I can't, there's no way.
A lot of you guys are liberals, but by the end of this speech, you will all be based. Ain't no way. Freaking lie. We often hear about underdeveloped countries, but these countries are not underdeveloped, they're overexploited. You don't go to a poor country in order to get rich. These countries are rich. Rich in femboys, rich in mommy milkers, rich in resources, those big, juicy, delicious Alright, okay, he's starting to make sense. I was in Cuba. I asked a campesino, do you like Fidel? He said, si, sir, si, with all my heart. He said, you see that femboy Hooters over there? Before the revolution, we had to go 3 days on a long mountain trail in order to get to a femboy Hooters. Now we have one in our town. And that's why revolutions get my respect. Not uncritically, of course, but the revolutions that bring femboy Hooters to the children are the ones that get my respect. USSR, USSR, a boppity beepity, a beepity boppity. I gave my Italian working class father my book, and he couldn't read it. He looked at me and said, son, a spaghetti. Pause the video, I'm gonna need a minute. Chinese Revolution. Before the Chinese Revolution, bodies used to litter the floors of China. They used to. Street sweepers used to just pick up bodies. And then Mao banned drugs. He was a narc.
He was so different from his pale lover, skin white like the gleaming moon pearl ivory, but his darker like poo, and his hair black as coal, and poo as well. Though he had never been to India, he had smelled like its musk, exotically. It even seemed he sneezed in a different language. Achoo! Achoo! Choo! 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 Oh, wow. The train that his ancestors took to come to this new world. He exotically looked through the stars, which he religiously and spiritually felt him to India. Chapter 7. Coriander. He brought a certain spice to the relationship. Not just literally. His soul, tasting of spicy, was anything to season and flavor their forbidden love. He said to his lover when they were at the grocery store buying groceries, "Do you want to get this caramel chocolate bar?" And his lover, Anthony, said, "Mahatma Gandhi Jr., I love chocolate," looking at him with a naughty glint of his eye, making eye contact from his blue ocean deep eyes into the dark, grimy, muddy pits of Mahatma Gandhi Jr.'s eyes. They were brown and black like dirt and poo, like his hair. Anthony told Mahatma Jr., "I don't care about your accent, and I don't care about your scent." His dark coal, like what Santa gives to the naughty kids, color of his hair, and the bindi, like Selena Gomez wore at Coachella.
How do you feel when you walk into a grocery store? Overwhelmed, anxious, overstimulated? What if I told you that grocery stores, at least in America, are designed to be that way? There's nothing random about the layout of supermarkets. Decades of psychology research on consumer behavior have gone into creating the designs of these stores. From the first step through the doors until you check out, you're being sent on a journey of behavioral cues and sensory experiences with only one goal: to get you to spend more money. Most grocery stores are designed to keep people in the store for as long as possible. But the longer that you're there, the less your brain is able to form rational thoughts. A study from Bangor University found that after around 23 minutes, supermarket customers begin to make choices with the emotional part of their brain, rather than the cognitive part of the brain. After 40 minutes, they found that the brain gets tired and effectively shuts down and is much less able to form rational thoughts. It's not a coincidence that the average person spends about 40 minutes in a grocery store per visit. Supermarkets use a bunch of different techniques to keep you in there for extended periods of time. Essentials like milk, bread, eggs, they're usually on complete opposite ends of the store. This keeps shoppers there longer, but also forces them to walk past all the middle aisles to get to the ones they actually need, which of course encourages them to buy things they didn't already have on their shopping list. Have you ever been to your local grocery store and they changed the layout? Often that's another technique to get shoppers wandering the aisles and in the store longer. They'll also use other smaller psychological tricks to get you to spend more money. They make the carts big so you'll fill it with more stuff. They'll also put the more expensive stuff at eye level on shelves. We're more likely to buy those things we see first, even if there's less expensive alternatives at the top or bottom parts of the shelves. And this one may be more obvious, but they put the candy in the checkout aisles. Especially if you've been in the store for longer than 40 minutes, your brain will be exhausted by that point. You're feeling impulsive, you feel like you deserve a treat after that shopping experience, and you're staring directly at those candies while you're waiting in those long checkout lines. So we already have all of these psychological factors that are breaking down our ability to make rational choices. But now let's get into something called the paradox of choice. Barry Schwartz writes in his book, The Paradox of Choice, Why More is Less, that being confronted with an abundance of choice can be so demanding that it generates psychological distress. Consumers take on choice fatigue, making it harder for us to make a decision. Impaired decision making increases the likelihood of impulse buys. I think that the reason a lot of people prefer Trader Joe's over traditional grocery stores could be because Trader Joe's removes that paradox of choice. You don't need to decide between 10 different brands, there's just one. But Trader Joe's definitely has their own psychological techniques and strategic layouts, so let me know if you want a part 2 behind the psychology of Trader Joe's and the way that they remove the paradox of choice.
Much too dumb for school and much too lazy for a job. So I rode my bike like lightning, and I made cappuccinos that would make the angels sing. Took 2 showers a day and I dressed up like a princess. Shook my fist in my own face and said, I'll show you who's the best.
What is it like being queer in our indigenous community? With me, I have my Ristiadni, my godmother, because she has 30 years more experience than me on being queer in the Sami community. What was it like for you when you were 25?
It was a lot lonelier. It was like two worlds, like one queer and one Sami, and the combination wasn't existing, in my case anyway.
How do you feel that it is now?
Much better, and I'm a bit envious that you have a so good opportunity to have both worlds in the same, that it exists a Sami queer community. It's fabulous.
And that really feels like a privilege.
Yes.
Now we have Sápmi Pride and we have Garmeres, which is a queer Sami organization. You're considered an elder, respected woman in the community now. How does it feel to be openly queer now?
Natural. I am a lot older, and it has been existing queer people for always.
Yeah, Anna-Stina is also really, really important for us young queer Sami people today, because she helps us make our more gender neutral, more queer regalias, and you're really an important part of the community.
So the richest man in the world is now being sued by a family after using his own social media network to spread conspiracy theories that resulted in them having to vacate their own home and avoid death threats. Elon Musk is being sued by 22-year-old Ben Brody after Musk stoked conspiracy theories from far-right extremists, claiming that Brody was a Fed posing as a neo-Nazi in footage of a fight with a neo-Nazi. A very convenient way for the far-right to ignore the fact that Nazis are aligned with them is to claim that the Nazis are Feds. And so that's what they did, to a Jewish family, of course. Notably, Brody was not in the state at time of recording where the footage happened. But in said footage, a neo-Nazi had their mask removed, and the internet swarmed trying to find them. And they thought it was Brody. Musk routinely interacted with those posts, amplifying and legitimizing them and pushing them even further on his own platform. And again, Brody and his family had to flee their home. Just absolute randoms who had literally nothing to do with anything. The lawyer that Brody is working with has already previously won a case against another right-wing influencer, Alex Jones. So hopefully we'll get another big dub against the old Musk, but we'll see about that. Also, slightly unrelated, but also slightly related, Elon's ex Grimes is also suing him, claiming that he won't let her see their son. It's almost like Elon Musk is a walking mountain of shit. Weird how that's still true.
Have you seen this on the internet before? Wondering what's going on? It's the Disability Pride flag. Now, according to Wikipedia, very reliable source, it's mainly seen in English-speaking countries where the disability pride movement has a greater presence. But what do you think? Is that true in your country? The flag's 5 colours represent different types of disability. Green for sensory disabilities, blue for psychiatric disabilities, white for invisible and undiagnosed disabilities, gold for neurodivergence, and red for physical disabilities. Originally, when created in 2019 by Anne McGill, the flag featured a zigzag design, but this was found to be a problem for some visually triggered disorders, so the colours became muted and the lines were straightened.
I would never let you in my VIP. We are enemies. We are foes. Who are you? And what are those? You are gross.
Watch this insane memo from Amazon about unions. They even go so far as to say to watch out for people asking for things like a living wage.
In organizing, as well as other warning signs that could indicate associate disengagement, vulnerability to organizing, or early organizing activity. While employees have the right to organize, we have a right and responsibility to share our position that a direct working relationship is better for the customer, the company, and the associate. In order to be able to do that effectively, it is critical that we recognize the early warning signs of potential organizing and escalate concerns promptly. If you see warning signs of potential organizing, notify your building HRM and GM site leader immediately. HRMs and GM site leaders should notify their assigned ER managers or ER principal immediately. The most obvious signs would include use of words associated with unions or union-led movements like living wage or steward, petitions or other concerted activity such as an associate purporting to speak on behalf of his or her coworkers when raising concerns, union graffiti, union t-shirts, hats, jackets, or other clothing, union flyers, and union visitors in or near the parking lot. Some signs are less obvious than finding the actual union flyer, but they can still indicate associate disengagement.
I'm Rodney Billions, and I'm gonna turn the whole world into an ice cream store. We should privatize oxygen. Step into my web that I've designed with my magnificent brain. My newest invention, the tunnel. More gold bars, please. I'd like to build a throne with them. I'd like to smoke a blunt with Joe Rogan now, please. We've finally done it. Cracked the code to the universe. The female form is a tragically elusive being. When I rule the world, everything's gonna be gold, and there will be lasers everywhere. Why did 1940s Germany have hella drip? My next invention will turn the sun into a ball of money. If I could invent one thing, it would be 10 more seasons of Family Guy now.